Hello everyone, my name is Neil Patel. This is a 20-minute screencast on how to create a microblog using Ruby on Rails. What is Ruby on Rails? So basically Ruby on Rails is a web application framework for building websites, and it combines languages such as Ruby, HTML, CSS and JavaScript. I really like it because it covers everything you need to create a database-backed web application. It covers both the front end and back end. So for me it's a great tool for you to get started in your web development career. So by the end of this 20-minute tutorial, we will have created a microblog similar to Tumblr, which allows you to create, read and update and delete blog posts. Like I say, we're going to be using Ruby on Rails. We're also going to be using Bootstrap 4, which is a front-end framework which combines HTML, CSS and JavaScript. I'll also be using Trello as well, which is a project management tool, so it keeps track on the things that we need to do. And I'll do a quick recap as well at the end of each section. So the first thing to do is do a quick setup to make sure we've got Ruby on Rails installed. To do that, you need to open your browser and type in installrails.com. So basically this is a step-by-step guide to installing Ruby on Rails. So click on the orange button that says Start Now. It's very simple and straightforward to use. It's just a case of selecting which operating system that you use. So it could be Mac, it could be Windows, it could be Linux. For me, it's Mac, so I would click on Mac. However, I've already got Ruby on Rails installed. Okay, so once you've done that, you need to go to your terminal. So let's double click on the terminal window, and we need to create a folder called blog by typing mkdir. So I already have my Rails apps in a folder called Rails, so let's go to my folder. So to do that we need to do cd, which is change directory. So all these are the apps that I'm currently working on. So like I say, let's create a new folder. Let's call it blog or my blog. To do that, you need to do mkdir my blog 2018. So now we're created a directory called my blog 2018. Let's go into it. Okay, and the last thing we need to do in this section is do a quick sanity check to make sure we're using the most stable version of Ruby and most stable version of Rails. To do that, we need to use RVM, which is the Ruby version manager. So if you type in RVM, so it's basically a command line tool which allows you to install, manage and work with multiple Ruby environments and the libraries. So the two most well-known commands will be RVM list, which will list all the different Ruby versions I have on my Mac, and RVM use if you wanted to switch to a different version of Ruby. So to check out the version of the Ruby, we can just do ruby-v. So as you can see, I'm using Ruby 2, which is a very old version of Ruby. So let's just do RVM list to see what version of Ruby I've got on my Mac. And as you can see, I've got the latest version, which is 2.3.4, the most stable version on my Mac. So let's use that one. RVM use Ruby-2.3.4. Excellent. So now we are using the most stable version of Ruby on Rails. Also, let's check what version of Rails we're using as well. So Rails-V. It tells us we're using Rails 5.1.5. Excellent. So now we can create the application. So let's just quickly go back to Trello and update what we've just done in the setup section. So install rails.com. mkdir to create a directory or a folder, RVM, which is Ruby version manager, and they have a website, rvm.io, and the two main use cases are RVM list, RVM use. Excellent. So that's setup done, and in the next section we'll be creating the application.